industry and how much we can upsell a customer without diminishing their experience. And basically, there was a survey done by one of the restaurant publications not long ago, and most professional wine serving people feel pretty much as much confidence from the consumer as maybe a car salesman would.
Yeah.
I'm just buying a car, so
You're right.
I'm going through this right now. If you're truly educated about wine, it's like the customer's not even there. You've got your agenda. You know the price you want to get. Damn it, that's what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And well, actually, we just don't know how demeaning this is, and we don't know how much it works against consumerism on a daily basis. So the idea is offer a range of wines in every taste segment at a reasonable floor and ceiling, low and high price, that you have confidence in the quality of within that taste spectrum, and make sure that the customer then gets to really decide.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so that's what we're really trying to push. I mean, our industry is how do we drive the consumer, not how do we enroll the consumer. And I think that is the biggest single impediment for expansion of wine consumerism in the world.
I've noticed that changing in the last 5 or 10 years when I've been going and asking somebody. They never try to hard sell anything anymore. They just kind of recommend in the middle of the road, and then I guess they take their cue from you, the consumer.
Well, no, it's we've just softened the sales push.
Yeah.
We've hidden it, glossed it over a little bit, because I mean, the statistics are very informative. Less people are buying more expensive wines, and that's the trend. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
I think the actual figure is that 11% of wine consumers account for 80% of wine purchases.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, and that's horrifying, and that trend is continuing more and more. So what's happened is we've set it up so that people that enjoy wine on a daily basis many times don't even ask.
Yeah.
They won't even go there because they're just so afraid of the whole thing.
I have to tell the audience one great thing about Tim is that you said this yourself in your seminar today. You said that you thought you were the epitome of wine knowledge, and he was tasting food and wine with some chefs, and one chef disagreed with your pairing.
I know. God, how could you do that? I mean, what's wrong with you?
And that's kind of the basis of your progressive wine list, because it allows individual, people have different palates and they experience taste different ways. I like Cabernet with almost everything.
Right.
Everything.
And so just the possibility of enjoyment is going to be expanded by having Cabernet with everything. And
Is Cabernet, well, usually when I have fish, it's salmon, but I would hesitate to order Cabernet with a more delicate fish.
have you ever tried it?
No.
Either has anybody else. Well, we did this with Harvey Simon of the Wine Spectator, and we did Dover Sole and Behringer Private Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. And he says, well, it's going to overpower it. Try it, Harvey. And did it? The fish tastes better than it did before. It's not. We've created these mental images that are just so entirely off base. And as we just went through in the whole experience in the seminar, and everybody gets to do this at home. If you want to make wine taste good with food, get a nice glass of Behringer red wine, put a little lemon or lime on your hand, a little salt, just like for tequila. Taste your wine first, lick your hand and taste the wine again and see how fruity and delicious it becomes. And that could be the beurre noisette and capers on trout that makes your Cabernet taste absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
But mentally, if it doesn't appeal for you, we don't do it. But if you really are having some delicious fish and you really want a nice bottle of Cabernet, for God's sake, do it. I mean, there's no reason not to.
Well, I have to tell the audience, I'm very skeptical, and the only reason I believed him, because I would just kind of smile and say yes, but the only reason I really believe him is because he did something that made everybody gasp in the seminar. He took a glass of, it was
White Zinfandel.
White Zinfandel, which everybody thinks is a very light wine, and then he put the red wine over it, and the
Cabernet.
white. Yeah, and the Cabernet floated, so the Cabernet was lighter.
Right. Well, one of my greatest assets or greatest problems is that I just don't take anything for granted anymore. And I mean, I'd always told everybody and truly believe this is heavy wine, this is light wine. And when I started becoming skeptical of myself, I started questioning things. And one night I was having dinner and I was ordered a big porterhouse steak. I was being talked out of a glass of white Zinfandel. I just do it just as mischief now, you know, just to amuse myself. So the waiter, it was a great waiter. He's saying, "Oh no, well if you love white Zinfandel, it'll be great." I said, "Well, you're not very convincing." He said, "Well, you know, the steak's really heavy. You need a heavy wine to stand up to the flavors." And these are the words we use, you know, to stand up to that steak, you know. So and just absent-mindedly, we had a bottle of Stag's Leap Petite Syrah also, and I was pouring it into my white Zin, and it just whoop, right up to the top, and I said, "Which wine's heavier?" And the guy went, "Oh, Jesus. I'm going back to college." You know, but it's true. We create these mental images. A poor little trout, the big Cabernet, you know, there's no way that can work. Well, yes, it does, but we've so effectively dissuaded people from eating and drinking. Honestly, we dissuade people from ever even trying these things.
Right.
And come to find out, another thing that happens, sometimes certain people have very profound reactions to certain bitter characteristics like artichokes in wine. We found 97% of people have virtually no reaction between wine and artichokes.
Interesting, interesting.
And those that do make a big deal out of it and tell everybody they're wrong and shouldn't do it. So the other thing is the blue cheese, a soft ripened blue cheese, for most people make a strong Cabernet because of the salt and the acidity, just like the lime and the salt, makes the red wine taste smooth and mild. Some people get a very strong bitter reaction and they're different genetically, and they'll tell everybody not to do it. And two of those people are Harvey Steinman and Madeline Kamen.
Interesting.
And Harvey said, "Well, forever I've been telling everybody it's a horrible combination," when indeed the vast majority of people who ever try it, it's one of the most wonderful combinations in wine and food that you can experience.
Tim, you've been great.